Welcome back to Fast Market here on the TD Ameritrade Network. I'm Tom White, joined by my co-host today. That's Nick DeRocos. But let's bring in our next guest for our cash tag segment. That's going to be Landon Swan, the co-founder of LikeFolio. Welcome back to the show, Landon.
Thanks, Tom. Good to be here.
All right. Happy Thanksgiving to you and the team at LikeFolio, bringing us the good data. And, you know, according to Tesla and the moves that we've seen, the stock hit two-year lows yesterday. It doesn't seem like, you know, the sentiment's going their way as far as stock price. Are you guys seeing a deterioration in any of the data out of LikeFolio?
You know, a little bit. It was so much easier like a year or so ago when Tesla, every time we came on the show, it was just Tesla's up. Everybody loves it. You know, consumer demand is through the roof. Happiness is through the roof. And we're bullish on this stock. That was the story forever. And now, as of late, it's slowed down. Now we've got purchase intent, consumer demand on a year-over-year basis pretty much flat. It's kind of snapped an uptrend that it was on, you know, since forever. And we've got a lot of negativity around the stock itself with Elon Musk purchasing Twitter. There's a lot of that. But you can see here in the chart, I mean, this green line is the 90-day moving average of purchase intent, basically someone saying, I'm buying a Tesla. And it's, you know, I think you could argue that it's a higher low right now. If you look back to, you know, October, November, we're plus 1% year over year. But I don't know that you could really argue that this is that cyclical or seasonal of a stock or of a consumer purchase. So the fact that it's down significantly off of those highs is a little bit concerning, and as is the stock. It's been cut in half, I think, even if you include today's move. And so, you know, we're seeing a little bit of a slowdown in consumer enthusiasm when it comes to Tesla. It's still the leader by far when it comes to EVs. There's no doubt about that. It's the leader in the space. But when you compare it across all companies and you kind of do like a pie chart of which companies people are talking about, on the left you've got now a year ago, right? A year ago today, and on the right you've got today. So you can kind of see what's happening is. Now, this is not, you know, the number of cars sold in the country. This is the number of people talking about buying cars. This is a bit of a, you know, kind of call it mind share or enthusiasm around the products. And it was Tesla at 57, almost 58% last year. Now it's down to 52. And you can kind of see who's eating into those, right? I mean, Toyota made a nice move. GM made a very nice move. You've even got the Go EV in there, you know, taking a little bit. So, just overall, it's a little bit concerning to see Tesla sort of moving in the wrong direction. I think a lot of it has to do, or it can be seen with the models themselves. The Model 3, the Model Y, that's almost all of their deliveries right now. The Model 3 specifically is down about 32% year over year. The X is doing well, but it's just not a big portion of sales. So the Model 3 is the one that's kind of the most accessible when it comes to price, and it's the one you see the most often out on the road, but it is down significantly year over year. So it's almost like if you were going to buy a Model 3, you already bought it. Even though they've got tailwinds, right? They've got gas price concerns. They've got everything. They've got people talking about buying electric vehicles almost double year over year. So they've got a lot of tailwinds, and it's not like I'm painting a gloomy picture. They're not in trouble. It's just they've kind of come back down to earth, and they're more of a, you know, a judgment call now, when it used to be just pound the table and buy this stock, and now it's like, I'm not so sure because all the data sort of moved sideways on them.
I didn't see Honda in there, Landon, so I must not be the cool kid. I don't know. That's you're not representing me out there. Hey, you know, looking at kind of this in comparison to an earlier conversation we had with Caroline on Apple. What do you think in terms of, you know, supply versus demand? And what I mean by that is this a supply issue where people are saying, hey, this is just too far out, right? I put my order in now, I don't get it for a year, I can't wait that long. Is that driving that sentiment down? And you guys pick that up in the data, or is it something else driving it? Because it just seems like there's so long of a wait still for getting these products in your hands. It's like maybe people are looking elsewhere. Is that coming through at all, or am I nuts to think that?
I don't think you're nuts to think that. I think that, you know, for a while it was so cool. It was such a cool product that people were willing to put their name on a wait list, and whenever they got it, they would celebrate. But now, you know, I think after a while of that, you know, it's a little bit frustrating. And so you've got issues with China shutting down COVID, so that's going to impact production. You still have some chip concerns. So there's a lot of things that are slowing down production, and they haven't been completely relieved, and some of them are popping back up. I think that's going to continue to push that out. And the longer that we are away from the novelty of Tesla, which I think it's pretty much worn off now, then you're going to get into those more realistic expectation of, hey, I'd like a car, please, right? So normally you can go down to any car dealer and walk away with one if you're willing to pay the price that same day. But with Tesla, that's not the case. With a lot of these companies, that's not the case. And so there is a little bit of a frustration there. I would agree with you. I think that's a great point.
Yeah, Landon, when you look at the stock price compared to, maybe some of the mentions that you guys have here, the demand for Tesla is still going to be out there. But to Nick's point, people will change their mind. A car is something, it's a big purchase right now. You've got interest rates that are higher. That's affecting people's purchasing power at this point also. But when you look at the stock price and the deterioration of 50% so far in 2022, does it make sense that even though demand's out there and that, it takes you months to get your car, supply chain issues are starting to wane a little bit? Is that, a benefit for this? Because we had the upgrade today out of the Citi analyst. Morgan Stanley came out with some positive commentary on the stock today, too. So is this like an opportunity, according to your data?
Yeah, I think that's the question. So when I would look at it, I would say they've got tremendous tailwinds working for them, gas prices and just EV interest in general. That's tremendous tailwinds. And I don't see that the EV going away. Hopefully gas price concerns are relieved, but electric vehicles are very, very popular. The high-tech aspect of them is very popular, and I don't see that going away. They're also the first to market in EV in a real way, and they have the easiest, the most recognizable name. They have that brand awareness that no one else has. The downside, I would say, is that they've got a lot of competition coming after them, and those competitions have had their own problems. So yeah, I think long term it's probably still a good buy here. I do think that the stock is probably taking a little bit of a hit because of some of the political controversy around Elon Musk and Twitter and all that. And I don't think that's going to go away anytime soon. So that actually could be seen as an opportunity because, profits don't really care about that, the stock price. It doesn't matter. If you're buying a car, it's going to go down to the bottom line, no matter who the CEO is and what he says on his own network, on his own social network. So I do think that there's potential opportunity here long term. I think this is the leader in the space. It's a fantastic company, and they seem to always get things done. But there's also a realistic expectation element here because people always thought that Tesla was perfect. It's this amazing car. Their happiness was extremely high before they started deliveries, and that's how it always goes with these EV companies. Now they're the lowest happiness of all the EV companies, and they're a little bit higher than the traditional car makers, right? So now you've got deliveries, people are getting some recalls and they're getting some issues, and the car's not perfect. So it's kind of tempered expectations, I think, moving forward. And even in my circles, I've heard people, it used to just be all enthusiasm. I can't wait to get one. I can't wait to get one. And now you hear some complaints here and there. You're like, yeah, I wish it did that. It's a little frustrating that it does this, little things like that. So actually getting the car has lowered happiness levels because expectations were so high. And I think that has to do with, who is selling it. He's a salesman. He does a great job of getting people hyped up, and the car can't be perfect, but that's what expectations were. So long term, I'd say definitely bullish on this company. Mm-hmm. Short term, you got to look for your spots, right? So, see if there is any kind of sell off on anything that's more unrelated to the company, like anything with Twitter, Elon Musk. I'd buy shares on that kind of sell off, not necessarily on an upgrade, though.
Yeah, it's almost like he's causing some of the issues himself, Elon Musk, a little bit with the stock and, having to sell shares also. But longer term, you guys are bullish. Near term, maybe a little bit more neutral. Got it.
Exactly. Yep. I'd say that's it on the mark. If they were reporting earnings right now, we'd have them at a plus 11. Mm-hmm. I know they don't report for a couple months, but they're just, on the slight side of bullish. But overall, long term, I think it's a great company. Short term, not sure. But appreciate you guys having me on, and you have a happy Thanksgiving.
All right, great stuff, Thanks, Landon. You too. That's Landon Swan, the co-founder of LikeFolio, breaking down Tesla data for us from LikeFolio.